Been waiting all day for this. What's going on, Boise, Idaho? Welcome to Idaho Sports Talk, Prater and the Ballgame. This is our video segment, so we will welcome our video audience as well and appreciate everybody for hopping on and hanging out today, Prater. Hour number 3, it's going to be a big one, a Buzo big one. In studio, joining us right now, number 1 in your heart, number 11 in your program, Chibuzo Agbo, Boise State swingman. Welcome to Idaho Sports Talk. First time, Buzo.
Yes, sir. First time.
Why are you number 11? Were you a Kellen Moore fan or something? Womp womp.
I was number 11 in high school after my freshman year, so I just kind of stuck with it once I transferred, and I just kind of want to go back to the high school feeling. So.
Well, it's awesome having you in here. We're going to hit you with anything and everything regarding questions coming your way. Me and Prater, my partner, we did not prep our questions too. So I don't know what he's going to ask. He doesn't know what I'm going to ask. It's usually how we do things around here. So let's have some fun. But all of a sudden we start like, life's good right now for Buzo, right? I mean, your team's winning. You had another massive win last night. This is your second here. Feels like you all like each other. Feels like it's probably a pretty good deal to be Buzo Agbo right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm living a lot of people's dream right now. I'm a D1 basketball player on a great team, so it's a lot of fun.
It's the pride of San Diego, California, born and raised, St. Augustine High School. I mean, you're a West Coast guy, and we want to get to know you a lot on this thing too. So you told us, like I said, born and raised in San Diego. What's that mean to you? And coming up to Boise, that transition, how's it been on your life? Obviously, Texas Tech in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, born and raised in San Diego, California. I love my city. Spent a lot of time at the beach growing up, so
nice, lucky.
Yeah, transitioning from that was definitely hard for me. Going to Lubbock, Texas, right away.
Yeah,
wasn't as nice as San Diego, but definitely makes you appreciate the sun and the beach a little bit more. Yeah, that's me.
How do you get through the winter? I mean, are you able to handle the winter? And this has actually been a pretty mild winter, so it hasn't been too bad. And some guys come from California and they love the snow. Some of them like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
Where are you at? Somewhere in between, maybe?
Last year was tough.
Last year was tough.
I don't know. They're saying it was the longest winter in Boise's history in a long time. So that one was definitely tough, but I think it prepared me for this year. Yeah, it was a little bit tough on me. I'm not a big snow person. I wasn't really ready for it. I don't have any big boots or anything, but last year definitely got me ready for this winter, so it wasn't as bad. So maybe I'm just getting used to it.
Big Boots, that could be a country music song. Write that down, JP. Let's write some lyrics to Big Boots. Probably already is. You've probably already asked this question, and we certainly want to talk about the president and moving forward and the opportunity in front of you guys over the next couple of weeks. But apologize if this question's been asked before, but just take me back to the very basics. That first day, somebody out of the blue called you and said, "I'm from Boise State. Let's talk." How did the whole Boise State thing start?
Yeah.
I mean, out of high school, I was getting recruited by, Coach Rice and Coach Burns. So we kind of already had that relationship. Plus, they have a good relationship with my high school coach, Coach Hop, which is somebody who I love and respect. And, anything he says, I'm going to listen. So, out of high school, he said, I think Boise State is definitely a place you should take a look at. They have a really good program, really good coaching staff, and coaching staff who tell you the truth in recruiting, which is a very valuable thing for me. So the second time around, you really know what you're looking for and things you want to avoid, and getting the truth told to you is a big thing in recruiting for me. There's a lot of lies out there in the recruiting process, and I knew Coach Rice and Coach Burns, everything they said was going to be true. So that's something that really affected that in my recruiting.
Why Texas Tech in the first place? I mean, were you literally being honest, just chasing the higher status?
Yeah.
I mean, you played there a lot. I think you played like 45, 50 games. I don't know if you ever started and how impactful you are, but I mean, and we're all chasing status and as high as level as we can possibly compete. So did it just come down to that?
For me, I think, Coach Beard, just talking to him, he had such an intensity about him and a belief of if you come here, you will become a better player. So out of high school, that was big for me. And as well as I think I did kind of get blinded, by the flashing lights and the Big 12 and all the things going on over there. So that was definitely a big aspect of it. So yeah, the second time around, I think I made the right decision, but I think I definitely, got blinded by a little bit of the Big 12 and the big money over there and things like that.
It happens. I mean, in this business, we get blinded by the big major market radio stations and all this stuff. I mean, we deal with it as well. I mean, sometimes the best place is absolutely where you are. And it might not be the biggest thing you think about when you're going through the process initially. And it feels like you made a great decision. We're going to get to your future a little bit. In Bronco Nation, we will give you the opportunity to call our Double Tap Pub hotline and talk to Buzo yourself later on in this interview. We let him do that with Omar Stanley, with Max, with Tyson. They've all called in and wished him well. So Buzo, some Bronco Nation members going to be hitting you up here. Hopefully they say nice things about you, pal.
Okay, cool. I hope they do. I see Jeff over here on Twitter. We're looking at the screen, so shout out Jeff Baker. I see you on here too. Maybe you'll tune in.
Baker getting shout outs. All right, Buzo, what's the two-parter? What's the greatest strength of this team? What's the biggest weakness of this team?
I think the greatest strength of this team is just our love for each other. We come to practice every day with a great joy. Coach walks in the film room before every practice and starts us with clapping. And by the end of the 30 seconds, we're all standing on our feet, standing ovation, just hyped to get to practice.
Really?
So I think it's just our ability to get better and love doing it. And I don't know what our weakness is. Maybe it's just me because I'm on the team, but I don't think we have too many weaknesses. Maybe I'm biased.
All right, he's passing on the weakness question, Prater. I love it. Chibuzo Agbo in studio here on Prater of the Ballgame.
Yeah, we're not going to let you get away with that weakness comment. So I appreciate that going there. The other day I put out a tweet and I said, if this basketball team could get the sharpshooter, and I'm talking like maybe like a Sam Merrill, the Utah State guy who's in the NBA right now, who just does nothing but stands at the perimeter and just bombs three-pointers constantly. If this team could get a healthy, consistent perimeter shooter, that they would be so much more deadly. And many people on social media, and rightfully so, said, that's you. Now, you're not playing that role this year. You've got a variety of different weapons. You're not just a standalone out there at the perimeter and shooting three-pointers kind of guy, but you are probably the best and deadliest three-point shooter. Do you wish you could shoot the ball from the perimeter more? And maybe if you stick around, and we're going to talk about your future as well, could you becoming more of a deadly three-point shooter? Is that in your game?
I think I'm a great shooter, just in general. Since I've been young, that's been the first part of my game. I'm a shot first kind of guy, but getting to the basket, that's definitely something I worked on this summer, and continuing to work on. A lot of people don't realize you can get better during the season, even if it doesn't show right away. Still building and still chipping away at that. So just driving to the bucket is the next part of my game. But I think I'm a great shooter. I think I shoot a good amount of threes a game. I think I average around 6-7 threes a game, which is a lot.
Yeah, this year it was right around 6. And I wasn't talking about your success in shooting. I want more because I think you're really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
I want that number to be 10.
Oof, 10, that's a lot. 10, you got to for sure be making at least 5 of those every game.
You can do it though, dude.
Absolutely.
You're the guy.
What's a typical Buzo workout day when it comes to shots? Do you have a number you want to put up every day? I know they have the technology now where they got these machines under the basket. It catches the ball, it shoots it back out to you. It keeps track of your percentages. Buzo, the technology is awesome. On a good day, how many shots are you getting up?
It's not really about the number of shots for me. It's usually before practice, I try to get a little bit of ball handling, a little bit of finishing work in, not too much. And then we practice. And then after practice, I get my shots in. I usually start with mid-range. I go around in the back, which is about 100 mid-range shots. And then maybe 100, 150 threes going there around and back. And, make 10 in a row free throws and get out of there. Because, it's mid-season. You're trying to keep your body healthy. You're not trying to do too much. So
what about just a random day in July, off season? Buzo goes to the gym to get a workout in and shoot on threes. Do you have a number of threes you would shoot that day? 500, 1,000, or whatever?
I feel like for most guys it's 500.
Yeah.
NBA guys 500. It's just, I think that's just the magic number of threes everybody wants to shoot during a workout during the off season. And that's a couple go arounds. I mean, if you're hitting the 5 spots and making 10 at 5 spots, that's 50 and then 100. So a couple more go rounds.
Damn, you got to do a lot of math to play basketball. You know what they tell you in broadcasting school, Buzo?
What's that?
Never do math on the radio. But you just did it and it worked. Prater in the Ballgame. Good stuff.
I like what you said about, trying to, advance your game, play with your back. Where do you feel like you need to get better? Where do you personally want to get better as a basketball player then if you're trying to broaden your game?
Off the bounce, there's been a lot of times this year where I feel like I can really get my shot off, but a couple times where I may have gotten blocked too, where I could have shot faked and drove to the bucket. It's just not I won't say it's a weakness. It's just not the strongest part of my game. So, I'm I'm still working on it. And by the time, a couple months, I hope to make it, one of the strongest parts of my game. It's all about the work.
Chibuzo Agbo in studio, Boise State swingman Broncos, even with Utah State in the loss column on the Mountain West standings in. Geez, Buzo, I know last night, you guys had an easier time than most nights in this league, but here you are in your second year of Mountain West ball. It was great last year. It's even better this year, just night to night. How does Buzo remain focused? You know this. If you guys slip up one night, you can lose to Fresno. You can lose to San Jose. You almost did when you had to go to their gyms.
Yep.
Tell me, night in, night out, what's it like to play in the Mountain West, man?
Oh, man, it's great. I mean, so much of my day and time is just thinking about basketball that when you're just out there on the court, it's just so free and just it feels like the best place to be ever. So just enjoying it when you're out there is a great part of it because it does come with stress, but it's what you love to do, So just enjoying it, first of all, but also sticking to routine for me is key. I'm a very routine guy. Going to the training room before practice, rolling out, make sure I'm good physically, and then getting my shots up, get my little workouts in. Those kind of things help you prepare mentally, knowing what you want to get done during the game and those areas that you want to hit, and kind of things that you want to avoid if you're not that great at. So.
Routine. You said you're a routine guy. Are you the same when the first hour of every single day? Do you do the same exact thing? And what is that? Take me through your first hour of every day. After you go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
start after you go to the bathroom.
Like everybody else, I'm gonna tell you I go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
and then most days I have class usually around 10:30. Go to class. After that, get to the gym. Go to the training room, roll out, stretch really good. Get a couple ball handling workout in, ball handling finishing just to get my touch right. And then we go to practice. And after practice, I get my shots up. And then I go home and I give my recovery boots and I do some homework.
He's living the dream ball game. Basketball. It's almost 24/7 for you right now.
Pretty much. That's what it feels like right now. Yeah.
That's the way it should be for the next 6 weeks, dude. Maybe 7 weeks, 8 weeks. How long you can push this?
Yep. We're in the grind, though. You want to give it 100% in your grind. And then once the off season hits, that's when you take your time off.
What's it like balling with Tyson Degenhart? I mean, he's all over our studio, as you can see, Ropain Studio. Tyson's one of our favorites. He's been in here a couple of times, but we talk about him, Prater and I. He's like the perfect human.
Yeah, exactly.
He's never got a B. Okay, he's all conference first team. He'll be probably again. He says all the right things. Like what's it like playing with that guy? Living around that guy, learning from, teaching him stuff, like just playing with Tyson. How do you describe it to people? Describe it to the thousands of people who are listening right now.
Yeah, I mean, every time like you ask somebody about Tyson, they say just a great person, like does everything right.
Yeah.
And that's literally Tyson. That's him. He's going to do the right thing every time. He just wants to be the best person he can be on the floor. He's our vocal leader every day. Whatever the coaching staff asks him to do, he's doing it. Whatever a teammate asks him to do, he's doing it and some. So it's literally like what you just said. It feels like he's the perfect person. You know what I mean?
It feels like it. Yeah.
It's great to hoop with Deggy just because he's got your back and there's never any finger pointing or bickering with him. He's gonna be like, all right, I got you, and he's gonna tell you what you need to know. So it's definitely great balling with Deggy. I mean, he's just the perfect teammate, and you could put him on any team, and he's gonna help you make you better.
I'm with you.
I'm not buying it. There's got to be one fault. When you guys make fun of him, and it's just goofing around, boys goofing around in the locker room. What's the go-to way to get to Tyson? What's his kryptonite?
Yeah.
Nothing really. It's like he's just an old man. He's almost married. Just doing everything perfect.
I mean, video games. I'm going to keep it here because we're not letting you off the hook. Cards. Is there anything that he's not good at?
Maybe dancing, I guess.
Yeah, okay, he's probably not a snappy dancer. Are you a decent dancer?
I'm all right. I'll get a little loose, I'm not the best dancer, but I don't care. I'm just having fun with it when I dance.
Who's the best dancer on the team? If you had to enter one person on your team to a dancing contest, who do you think would win?
That's a tough one. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Not a very fleet-footed team, I guess, Prater. Bunch of left feet out there.
Yeah. Hey, we need him to focus on basketball, not dancing. But I get
good point. Good. Hey, 208-424-9300. That's the number of our Double Tap Pub hotline. If you want to call in right now, JP, screen us a couple. We're not going to let everybody in, but we'll let a few in you want to call and talk to Chibuzo Agbo, maybe you have a question, maybe you want to wish him well, maybe you just want to say you're a big fan, you want to get a couple of seconds here with Mr. Agbo, we'll give you that opportunity. Call 208-424-9300. The first few will have the best chance to call, JP. So be ready if anybody wants to call in and wish Buzo Agbo well. Buzo, altitude. And we got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. Yeah. Is it a thing? I know that's your next game. You go up there to Laramie. I don't know if you played in places of altitude before. What's it do to you?
Oh man, the altitude it's a real factor.
It is,
a lot of these places, 100%. The big part of it is making sure you're extremely hydrated. Our coaching staff does a great job of that. And our strength coach, Coach Whitmer, does a great job of that. He has us hydrated, and we have a plan every time we go to games like this of how we're going to attack it. And along with that, just having the mentality of knowing that, this is high altitude and you just have to be ready and you have to get your second win fast. So you got to play really hard initially. And yeah, it's definitely a factor. So we just got to be ready for that.
I know you're dealing with Wyoming on Saturday and 5 regular season games and a tournament in Vegas. And, the NCAA tournament is so far away, but the end goal here is to do something that no other Boise State basketball program has ever done. Everything you do every day, when you wake up in your routine every single morning, the end result is to win this, to get in the NCAA tournament and win a basketball game. Convince me that this is the basketball team, scheduling-wise, experience-wise, savvy-wise, smartness-wise, skill-wise, talent-wise. Is this the Boise State basketball team that can finally win an NCAA tournament?
I was thinking about this morning, and I 100% think it is. Just the way everything's lining up with how we played so far, the position we put ourselves in with the seeding, and just our resolve. Like, since the beginning of the season, this is what we've been talking about. And it's not just winning one. We've been talking about getting a couple and really making this a thing and really making history. So I 100% think it is. We just got the group of guys this year. We have the experience, and I just know it's going to happen.
Do you think? Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, do you feel like it's different? Do you feel like over the last couple of weeks, I know this season's had some ups and downs, but I think it's all, again, pointed toward mid-March. You feel different about this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The years before us, those guys were getting in tournaments and things like that, but the consistency of, having it the past couple of years and having the retention that we've had with a couple guys coming back who played last year in the tournament, and just that experience, even guys who came in this year, Cam has been on a Kansas team who won it. So a lot of the experience is I think it's definitely going to play a big role in us winning those games.
Yeah, and Omar played in some monster games too in the Big East. Absolutely. 208-424-9300. If you want to call and say anything you want to Chibuzo Agbo, we'll give you that opportunity. JP, stand by the phone on that. Do you think fairly or unfairly, Buzo, this team is going to be judged, yes or no? Did they win an NCAA tournament game? Maybe that doesn't even care for you. You don't give a rip what the outside thinks, but we talk to the outside, and we are the outside every day. And it feels like until this team wins a tournament game, I don't know if we can call you the best team in program history. Do you feel that pressure too, that if you don't win a tournament game, everyone's going to kind of turn their back on you?
It's never the fear of that. It's more just we really want this. I know people out there in the Boise community, fans want it, but I can guarantee you we want it 100 times more.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so definitely a little bit. I don't view it as pressure though. I view it as something we really, really want. So there's no amount of outside pressure that can make it more pressure than we have on ourselves.
Let's get to know you a little bit. Who's we're doing this series right now with the football team and the 15 most important players on the Boise State football team. Who's the most important person in your life?
Most important person in my life. Can I pick two?
Sure.
My dad and my mom, for sure.
Are they really? Your mom and dad, huh? Was dad around when Buzo was growing up? And what was that like in your family dynamic?
Yeah, great dad. Hardest worker ever. I think that's where I got, my grind from is my dad, such a great guy. And, he'd wake up at 4:30 every morning, literally every single day to go to the gym before work. And he'd stay at work a long time, and they put in the overtime. So, love my dad, love my mom, just such great people. I'm so glad to have them as my parents, doubt they're listening, but Mom and Dad, I love you guys.
Oh, they're
very much.
listening. This is Idaho Sports Talk, Buzo. They're listening.
Hey, no, it's coming in today, so they might not be tuned in just today.
You can find it afterwards on our app. So
let's hit up the Double Tap Pub hotline. We'll let a couple of these people in. Again, if you want to call and be a part of this, 208-424-9300. Jordan, you're first up. Jordan, you got Buzo on the line. What do you know? What do you say?
Hey, brothers, just calling in. Want to, first of all, Buzo, it's been awesome having you and your family join the Bronco family. So much fun. Thanks for just the good guy that you are, the energy you bring, and the leadership you bring to this team and this community. Appreciate you. I have kind of a random question for you. You're a shooter. Want to know, are you, when you're taking, hundreds of shots in the off season, during the season, practicing, are you always using the Nike ball that we use at home? Are you mixing in the Wilson ball? I've got my tinfoil hat on right now, and the Wilson ball is what we use in the NCAA tournament. And, Mountain West teams have a little bit of a tough time in the tournament. Do you think that there's any kind of factor there? What's that like, preparing to use a different ball?
Yeah, first of all, appreciate you, Jordan. Lots of love for you tuning in and saying those kind words. I really appreciate that. Talking about the ball, for me, I love the Wilson ball. It's one of my favorite balls just because, I don't know, something about the way it just comes off my hand, and I'm a heavy sweater too, so during games, it really lets me grip it. I know some guys don't like that, but it's definitely one of my favorite balls, but it definitely is a factor switching between balls during the season for sure. But when the tournament comes around, it's my favorite ball, so I love playing with that.
we talked about your shot earlier in the show as we were breaking it down and having some fun with like Max. Max's shot starts at the hip and finishes at the shoulder.
Mhm.
Yours starts at the shoulder and finishes at the ceiling and the rafters. You got that high release point.
Yeah.
Did that come naturally when you were in sixth grade and you've just kind of gone with it, or how did that shot come about?
My coach at the time, he had me watching some Kobe videos, just how he shot the ball, and we were talking about my high release, and kind of at the time I didn't really understand why, so I was just repping it out, and eventually it just became part of my game just to shoot the ball like that. And it's worked out pretty well so far, so
Yeah,
I
it
just
has.
kept stroking it.
We want to talk about your future. Yeah, you got eligibility left, but you also have a future where you might be able to, get money in your bank account playing professional hoops, right?
Yeah.
Prater, I want to take a quick one and come back and talk to Chibuzo Agbo about what is next for him. I don't know what you're going to tell us, Buzo, but we're going to ask you. 208-424-9300. Anybody that wants to come in, be a part of this, and talk to Buzo, join us when we come back on Idaho Sports Talk.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.
No big changes on the freeway for the last hour.
ERSshirtshop.com.
The original Kids Fair is back with special guest Bluey, plus magicians, stage performances, face painters, and more. It's a full day of interactive fun Saturday, February 24th, 10 to 6 at Expo, Idaho. Presented by Bi-Mart with Sports Radio The Ticket.
Prater in the ball game. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We have Chibuzo Agbo in studio, 208-424-9300. What is his future? We'll get to that in a second. But first, back to the Double Tap Pub hotline. Lee, thank you for holding. You got yourself Buzo Agbo here, Lee. What do you want to say to him? Go for it.
Hey, Buzo. Glad to have you on the Bronco family. I just had a question for you. You said that you played for Texas A&M or Texas Tech in the Big 12. I just was curious, going from the Big 12 to the Mountain West. I know the competition in the Mountain West is kind of beating ourselves up because we have a lot of great teams. But I want to get your feeling on what the competition was, and is it harder to prepare for teams playing in the Big 12 than it is in the Big West or in the Mountain West? Excuse me.
Oh, appreciate that, Lee. Thank you. And I think just because the transfer portal has kind of evened itself out in many ways with the level of different players and different divisions and things like that. But obviously the Big 12 is just a different beast, great teams all over that league. But I do think a lot of our players, could play in there.
I agree.
I think me right now, I think I could go over there and play there for sure. So I think the transfer portal is definitely evening it out to some extent, but I definitely do still think, the Big 12 is the Big 12 and it's going to be dominant.
All right, well said. Buzo, I'm just going to say it, is the NBA realistic, do you think, for you? What are you hearing about your game? What have people told you about your pro potential? And I guess I'll just start you off on there. What have the experts told you about your future in basketball?
Yeah, I mean, they're telling me I got a chance. Just because I feel like I fit into a lot of different teams. I don't need to pound the air out the ball to get some points. I can sit there in the corner and just hit some threes. So I think I have a very I don't know how to say it. My game translates well to the NBA. So they're saying I definitely have a chance to be a 3-and-D guy. But I want to be more than that. I'm always adding to my game. But I think I have a real chance. I'm going to have an opportunity to showcase myself and have opportunities, and I just got to make the best of them.
The bigger question follow-up from there then is you've got one more year of eligibility at Boise State if you want. You mentioned the scary word in college sports these days, transfer portal, but what is your future, whether you know it or not right now, because you've got a month worth of work to do, but are you thinking Boise State next year? Are you thinking transfer portal? Or are you thinking professional basketball? What's your mind thought right now?
I'm not too sure, I'm just playing this year, giving everything I got, I love this team so much. I don't see the transfer portal in the future for me. I really love it here. I love our coaching staff. But despite that, I'm just trying to finish out the year. I've been asked that quite a bit, and just like I've been telling everybody, it's like I don't really know yet. I'm kind of unsure, and I don't know if people believe me when I say that, but I'm like, I really don't know yet. So
the obvious path is straight into the NBA through the draft and whatever, but we all know that that's very, very difficult. Would you contemplate the G League? Are you more of a overseas kind of guy? If your end result or if your end game is the NBA, maybe the G League is good for a couple of years. Would all those come into play for you?
Oh, for sure. I just think there's so many different factors that you can't really know just yet. So I think big part of it for me is just continuing to get better. And as opportunities, come and people start calling me more, to just keep solid and keep going. And when these opportunities arise, I'm obviously going to have workouts. I think there's definitely teams looking at me already. Is just be ready and take full advantage of them when they come.
Will you take advantage? Is it like a 30-day window, 45-day window to go work out? As you sit here today, do you think that that's an opportunity that you'll probably go through, an exercise that you'll go through?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm 22 years old.
Yep.
It's about that time for me. So 100%, I'm going to test the waters a little bit.
So you're at one point, the announcement's going to come out. Buzo's going to go off and test his waters in the pro basketball, but that doesn't mean you couldn't come back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the cool 100%. Thing about the system in college basketball. They don't do that in football. Like they essentially let Buzo go to the combine. he gets evaluated, and then based on those evaluations, you say, okay, I'm going to stick around and try to be a pro, or I'm going back to Boise State. I got unfinished business I want to take care of. There are a lot of advantages, right? When you think about this really hard decision, what are the advantages, in your opinion, if you do come back and you run this thing back at Boise State? Buzo, on paper, you guys got a ton of talent coming back here on this team next year.
Yeah, 100%. I think a huge positive thing would be getting that feedback and knowing exactly, you can't really talk to these teams directly right now. You can only hear through the grapevine, what they think of you, what they're saying. So hearing specific feedback from teams of, if you did this better, or you got to prove you can do this type of deal would definitely be beneficial for me. But coming back, is definitely in the picture too. I love this team. We have guys that are coming back already. So I definitely love to be a part of it again, for sure.
Well, we love you being a part of us here in this studio on Idaho Sports Talk. Hopefully the first of many trips into this studio in Idaho Sports Talk. You're a communications major, Buzo?
I am, yeah, communication, yep.
Hey, if you had a little slip, Prater can autograph it for you. You can take it back to your professor. Maybe you can get some credit, some time served, like an internship or something, man.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. We might be looking for a summer intern, Buzo.
Okay.
Keep your name in mind, man, if you come back and continue things. This has been awesome, man. Appreciate you letting us get to know you and the fans as well. Thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, and for everybody who called in. Thank you guys. Everybody who's listening, that's a Boise State fan. Thank you guys. Love you guys, and show up for the next couple home games, please.
And that's why you listen to Idaho Sports Talk. Prater in the Ballgame, KTIK the Ticket.
This is Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame, brought to you by